What's up, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. I'm the host, SF Johnny, Seriously Focused Johnny, and you are now tuned in to Difficult People Chronicles. Today's episode is called How to Handle a Tyrant. I I didn't think I was going to air this episode today because I'm exhausted. I was invited to a wedding, an African wedding, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot. And like told my friend that it you need a lot more marriages that where the parents pray over the couples getting married and throwing blessings their way, not just the regular speech at some weddings. Because I've been to a lot of weddings. Some weddings they just give a little speech and that's it. This was very traditional, and it was a blessing because nowadays you see a lot more divorces, a lot more people who are not praying and wishing families well. And I feel like we need a lot more of that to see just how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. And then one of the reasons why I say that is because there's so much division nowadays in the world that what you don't see is you don't see families coming together for marriages and for weddings and you know like good times, unity. And what I realize is that one of the reasons why is because a lot of us was taught, even down the generation, like way before we was born, we were taught, and I'm talking going back into slavery and the mistreatment. We were taught more about division and separation. And that's why a lot of the families are so divided. We were taught about division. We were taught about separation. And that's why some of the families they just don't get along long enough to come together to, you know, for blessings and unity and marriages. So it was more than a marriage for me. It was an educational thing. It was watching how they kept God in the mix every step of the way with blessing the couples and you know, the praising and worshiping, and they kept God every step of the way to bless the marriage, and seeing a lot of unity, love, and good food. So, yeah, it was a good thing. Something that I think I needed to see again. And the reason why I say again because um in my family it's West Indian and African, like on one side of the family, and then the other side of the family it's West Indian and part Irish and got a little bit of Indian and things like that. And I've always, when I was young, I was always going to a lot of weddings and seeing things and all that other stuff. But this year it started up all over again, where I'm going to a lot of weddings, and I saw what I needed to see. It's something. Marriage is something that God does want. So He wants that. That's a part of him. Marriage, unity, love, peace. And the devil is all about separation, division, and divorce, and all that other stuff. And that's one of the reasons why it's very important that if you're single out there, you find the right person. But nowadays, you could find somebody that ain't for you, God forbid, and that person don't want to get married, and they will try to hurt you because you don't want what they want. Like your sights may be something different, like marriage, unity, and love, and they want to just be boyfriend and girlfriend till infinity. And because you decide to walk away, my suggestion, be prayed up, because nowadays people are trying to keep other people in bondage because you want something better. Yeah. So check me out June 27th for another live stream on YouTube. It's called Workplace Warfare. Is I will be live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. Let me get into this topic. The topic today is called How to Handle a Tyrant. This is my statistics. So, based off of what I see, and the reason why I'm saying this is my statistics, is because if you pull a person to the side and you say, "Why are you really leaving?" a lot of times they'll tell you. But when they sit in front of their supervisor, boss, HR for their exit interview, 9 times out of 10, they lie. Trust me. They could be going through hell, fire, drama, earthquakes, and tornadoes at that job. And as soon as they go straight to HR for that exit interview, they're like, "Oh, thank you for the time I shared here and my tenure and blah blah blah." And then they'll type up a email saying, "It was wonderful. I learned a lot, and I thank everybody. I miss you all, and see you soon." A lie. Because in their head, what they saying is, "I don't care what happened to none of you heifers for what y'all did to me. Y'all ain't give me my money. Y'all ain't pay me on time. All y'all did was pile work on my desk. All y'all did was give me headache, call me all hours of the night, and expect to juice me like a juicer. And now you want to ask me, why am I leaving?" What they need that for? Because even if you tell them the truth, are they going to change? No. 9 times out of 10, they'll try to blackball you. "Oh, this person cannot work for this company anymore." Why? Because you don't go the way that they go. hmm So my statistics is, I would say I'm going between 90 and 95% of the people leave because of the difficult situations, meaning the situation they're in at the job, difficult people, headaches, drama, no sleep, phone ringing 24/7, getting sick off the job, etc. Right? And then I say between 5 and 10% of the people leave because of relocating, family, growth opportunities, start their own business, they want a salary increase, or etc. So, in the book called Coping with Difficult People by Robert M. Bramson, he's a PhD, it talked about people leaving due to being ridiculed, belittling people, blowing their self esteem, abusive, intimidation, things like that, attack mode, They leave because of attack mode, things like that, arrogance, being a lot of sarcasm. So in the book, it talks about the Sherman tanks term, where a friend of the author describes a work associate who would berate, belittle, disrespect, and intimidate a staff, and as a result, the associate felt they were being run over by a Sherman tank. In a nutshell, my experience, her name was Olga. She was a very mean, ugly person, and inside and out. Cause even when she was one of those people that even when she smiled, she looked evil. You ever see one of those people? Like their mouth is smiling, but their eyes is like beady. Like she was just evil. She would have tantrums, like attitude as soon as you walk in the office. She was ready to attack. Enjoyed pulverizing people. And when I first got there, she made it seem like we were cool. She made it seem like she was very professional. So when it was she and I, everything was cool. But at the moment that after my probationary period, she was on attack mode. Like she drove me crazy. It was to the point where she would attack me on the floor, like say things, yell at me, and it was all sorts of stuff. And it was disrespectful. Why? Because I had staff that I supervised. My staff made up Indian, West Indian, and I think an older white lady who probably was about to retire. They loved me. And I think they were happy when I got hired because they really didn't want to deal with her, Olga, because she was evil. Everybody knew she was evil. And it was I would say, another supervisor that worked alongside of me he would really try to keep me from losing it. He would try to keep me from losing it. He would try to keep me from quitting because there was times I walked in and I would just go over to him and I'll say, I think today's the day. Yeah, where I go to lunch and never come back. And in my head, I had a lot of things planned. If I had a great weekend set up, I intended with no backup plan to just clear off my desk and everything else and just leave. Yep, that was my plan. Every day my stomach was in a like it just felt nauseous because I couldn't deal with her. The hardest part in the world is when you can't go at someone the way you would someone on the streets, meaning that you have to bite your tongue because there's certain things you want to say, there's certain things you want to do, and you just can't because you're on a job. That's one of the reasons why people blow their cool. People act like, oh, I don't know why this person acted the way they did. I don't understand. Yes, you do. It was you. On this job, a lot of times I stood up for myself. It was a pharmacy company, and I couldn't deal with her. And one day, how I dealt with her, I stopped with the wishy-washy attitude. Like in the morning, like if everybody was together, we had group meetings, she made it seem like we were together as a team, and as soon as everybody leaves, she was acting a certain kind of way, and that was interfering with my emotions. It really was, because it was just like, who are you? Like, pick an attitude and rock with it. I can't do it. So I just decided to be one way. And that's I stand on those kind of things, principles today. If, because you meet people like that everywhere, church, school, job, maybe even the store. Like you have to say, for instance, you have to go to this pharmacy every day or the doctor's office, and there's one person, that one secretary or whoever, that is wishy-washy, where when everybody is around, they like, hi, how you doing, nice outfit. As soon as everybody leave, they like, what? Yeah. Hmm. And they not diagnosed nor on medication. They really don't like you. What it is they putting on a front. And that's what she did. She put on a front because everybody in the office knew that Olga was difficult. So, um, I, for me, this is exactly what I said I did. When she would go off the deep end and do certain things, I was just calm, cool, and collective, and I waited for her to have her little temper tantrums. Now, the book that I was telling you about, I think it was on page 15. It explains how when a person's going through a temper tantrum, it's like a kid, basically. This is what I'm saying. It's like a child. You wait for them to what it says, run down. That's what it says. Give them time to run down. So it says if the person you are confronting is yelling at you, crying angrily, or being otherwise noisy, hold your position for a short while to give them time to run down. I call it, if you think about it, it's temper tantrums. You let them get exhausted, cry themselves out, kick, scream, bang the wall, bang their head or whatever, and calm down, right? And it said, and the book says, remain in place unless you need to move to guard against physical assault. Look directly at the yeller and wait. Hmm. For me, I was just cool, calm, and collective when she would go off the deep end. Why? Because in my head, I was just like, is this serious? Like, is this normal? You have that state of, you really can't believe what's going on in front of your eyes. So it's one of those situations. Like, do people really do this out here? Like, is this what it is? Yeah. And she would just, after a while, she would just walk away because she was very over dramatic. And then when I showed her no emotions, she got quiet. But it also, what it did for her was put her in a mode where she was just like, okay, I'm gonna try something else, because she was trying to get me to react. So she would calm down, stop, walk away. She was trying something else. She was up to another scheme. Does that sound like the devil? So it was them evil spirits inside of her acting up. For me, I was an effective listener. So I always repeated whatever she said. When she said certain things, I would repeat it, even if it didn't make sense. Because when whatever she told me to do or act towards my staff or whatever was wrong, she became upset with the world when I said why. And they saw her as wrong as well. Like a lot of people in the department. But she always wanted to be right. A lot of people saw her as wrong. My boss, ex-boss actually, saw her as wrong. The person over him saw her as wrong. And there was a lot of people that didn't want to deal with her. But I tell you again, she didn't know her work. She was still in position. And the question is, how did she get that position? That she was not qualified. Not on a professional level and not on a skill set level. One of the other things I did is I spoke from my truest self. Wherever my spirit led me, that's what I said. Wherever I felt my heart, in my heart, I stated. I wasn't belligerent, nor did I use vulgarity, but I told her exactly how I felt. I let her know I was not a dummy, I was not a slave, I was not a puppet. Because she would come at me and want me to say and do certain things to my staff just to start trouble. And that's what people will do. People will hire you to be in position to stir up trouble. Some people just love drama. They love drama. I stood strong on confidence, and in my head, I wasn't scared of her. I went through a lot in my life, so I refused to allow her to belittle me and play me on a mental level. I learned never to sleep on her, but still, at nights, I was restless because she was always up to a next scheme to try to do things like she just had a lot of issues. One of the things people always ask when you leave and you finally leave the company and then you have a testimony to tell, they say, well, why you didn't leave sooner? Even when people talk about SA cases and all this other stuff, abuse, they say, well, why you didn't leave? Well, why this, that? People, you will never understand a situation if you're in it. If you will never understand a situation if you're not in it. That's all I'm gonna say. You will never understand because sometimes people be doing witchcraft where they mind control. So a person will make an attempt to leave, take a step forward to leave, and then for some reason there's this force pulling them back. And because a lot of people don't pray in the spirit, or they may not have certain people praying for them, they right back in that same situation. But for me, I stayed because of a lot of things. And one of the things was that I just didn't want to deal with the same thing somewhere else. Meaning that it would be a different person but same spirit somewhere else. And that's what I explained to you all. Some people are quick to leave a job real quick, or quick to leave a relationship real quick, or quick to do this and quick to do that, only to get into another situation that's worse but the same spirit. That's what you have to deal with. The spirit. It's a spirit that's following you. So what I did was I planned my move. Because usually I would just up and leave. I would just be like, yeah, I would wake up one day and I'd be like, I'm not going to work. I'm not going back to that place ever. She will never see me again. If she call me, I'm going to curse her out and just hang up the phone. Yep, that's it. I'm done. No, I went back to work, and the person I worked alongside, he talked me into giving a 2 weeks notice because I told him, I said, yeah, I'm leaving. Today's it. And then he was like, give a 2 weeks notice. I was like, oh, gee, really? He was like, yeah, it's the right thing to do. For who? For who? Like, people could sit there and stress you out so bad that they want to put you in your grave and all this other stuff, God forbid. And it's like, oh, give them a 2 weeks notice. What? Yeah. But I did. But I did it the right way. I did it in the morning meeting. With her boss and everybody else there. I said, I'm giving a 2 weeks notice, and my boss was upset. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Because he was the same person. Kid you not. He would walk to work and he would see people on his floor that he supervised or managed or whatever he do every day and never speak to them until the morning meeting, or he see you passing in the floors. His head was always thrown back like he was just all that. hmm And then if you in his office and you had to ask him a question, he wanna ask you questions about your family. Oh, do you have any kids? Are you married? Oh, that's my kid. I care nothing about what you got going on. You barely speak to me outside of here. And that's how he was. You could stand in front of the building, he would walk straight past you, look you in your face, and never say good morning. He was a strange person. He helped create that culture. So he acted like he was shocked, and then he wanted to talk to me, and I was just like, yeah, I gotta go. And they scheduled a time for the exit interview. I never showed up. I was like, I'm not going back to work for the last day just for an exit interview. And God forbid they have a party for me and food and all that other stuff, and they want me to sit down, break bread, and eat. Nope. Mm-mm. No, we good. Just make sure you have my check. Because one of the things I say is that that man, he did not care about the turnover rate in the department. He did not care about my supervisor who was trifling and doing things not only to me, but there was another person that was on the same level as her, an Indian woman that she treated horribly. And me and that woman was very nice with each other because she was busy trying to show me certain things that my own supervisor wouldn't tell me. Yeah, that affected her department. And then it just was like, how did this woman get in this position? And the day I started the job, the lady was talking about the other lady like a dog. But then when I got to know her, I was just like, oh, she's a sweetheart. She's nice and all that. And she showed me a lot of things that affected her department. And we worked well together. But then I had to go. I said, I can't do this no more. Because my supervisor was trifling. She was very trifling. I witnessed her calling a West Indian woman, I think she called her stupid or a fool or something like that. And the lady was in the bathroom crying. And when I went in there and I said, you need to go to HR and say something, I'll go with you. And the lady would not say anything. She was just like, no, she always do that. And she spoke about the Bible and she says, her day is coming and all that other stuff. And I say, yeah, true. But sometimes God tells you to fight too. And I realized that a lot of people just didn't want to deal with it, and I understood. Sometimes people will tell you, like myself, like say when I told her to go say something, what I realized is that after the fact, and I would say after like maybe months later, I realized that sometimes if you go say something, it doesn't do anything but make your situation worse. Sometimes if you go say something, everybody already knows what you're saying is accurate, but they don't want to deal with it, period. So they ignore it, brush it under the carpet. Sometimes if you go say something, people just don't move quick enough to write up a case to build a report on this person. They just don't want to do it. They because they're lazy. And in that situation, what I saw, and this is for a lot of people that, oh, and here's another one. Sorry, before I go over that. Sometimes a person could say something and not realize that they're working for a company that is dark, meaning that you're the light, you see everything going on. Everybody in that office sees what's going on. Everybody in that company knows what's going on. But that's how they choose to operate. Why? Because they all act the same way. It's a part of their culture. And when I went to God in prayer and I said some things, I just said it's time to go because there were certain things being done where one day I went to work. I would go to work when I started complaining about a lot of things. Then I started going to work and noticed that my face was breaking out, like under my chin, where it felt inflamed. And it was only when I was at work. When I got home, it was better. So at first, I thought it was that The place needed to be cleaned down with Lysol and all that. And I bought in all my tools to clean, and I cleaned down everything and all that. And it was still the same. My face under my chin felt inflamed until somebody said maybe she's doing something. And then I said, it's time to go. I can't deal with this. I can't be going to work and then feeling like I want to bring an ice pack and put the ice pack in the fridge just so I could strap it to underneath my chin or around my mouth. And then what that said to me is that the enemy didn't want me talking. And that's why I said it's imperative that you pay attention to patterns and coincidences. So, back to what I was saying. Why people leave a job is for those reasons. And the tip I gave within this topic was when you see a person acting up, do what I did: calm, cool, and collective, unless they try to move to hurt you or harm you. You have to guard yourself. But make sure you document everything. Everything. hmm Everything. When you go to a lot of these jobs, you will have to do things where are you have to question a lot of people's spirits. Even the person talking to you saying things like, I'm with you on that and I understand and da 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 and this and that, and they saying all this stuff. But then when you get in the office, it's another ball game where they looking like your enemy. Yes. So that's it for today. I hope y'all have a blessed week. Check me out June 27th for another live stream on YouTube. It's called Workplace Warfare. Is I will be live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. And I'm just going to air it exactly at that time, 8 p.m. Because like I said, when I put the link out there, it just wasn't working. I don't know what was going on, but I don't want to do that again. Yeah, so have a blessed week, y'all. Stay calm on the job. Don't let people ruffle your feathers. And just walk in peace. Later.